for Riel, and welcome to the Wednesday News Moto. After taking to the skies last week, we are firmly back on the ground in Phnom Penh for this week's news. This week's ride is provided by Linda and KT from Mocha Life channel. They are Cambodian Americans spending some time exploring the kingdom. Please check them out, there's a link in the description. For Riel is a monetised channel and we donate all of our YouTube income to charities in Cambodia. Here is the total we've donated so far. It's a small amount each month, but it adds up over time. More detail is in the description of each video. Wherever you're watching from, thank you for being here. Please remember to like and subscribe. Doing these things helps us earn more and donate more each month. Today is Wednesday the 14th of September, and in this episode we'll look at the HIV situation, see which countries are popular destinations for Cambodians, and try to find out why there has been a spill of onions on the roads. Let's look at HIV first. After the number of people newly infected with HIV had dropped for more than a decade, cases have jumped to higher than expected levels in 2022 with over 1,100 infections reported. The Vice Chairman of the National AIDS Authority said HIV/AIDS had largely faded from the public's mind, but this dangerous mindset could see the high infection rates quickly return to society. In 2010, 2,100 new cases were reported, which dropped to just 520 cases in 2020, but in 2022 the number of infections has shot up again. In Cambodia, around 74,000 people are living with HIV, and around 2,300 of those are children. Cambodia has been recording HIV cases since 1991. Vietnam has become the most favoured destination in Southeast Asia among Cambodian travellers since the beginning of 2022. Cambodian tourist arrivals to Vietnam in the first 8 months of this year tripled compared with the same period in 2019. More than 80,000 Cambodians travelled to Vietnam between January and August. 68,000 Cambodians visited Singapore, 61,000 went to Thailand, and 53,000 to Malaysia. Cambodians mostly visited Vietnam for tourism, medical services, to visit family and to conduct trade along the shared border. Water Festival cancelled for the third year running. According to a government press statement, the annual Water Festival usually held in Phnom Penh has been cancelled for the third year in a row due to ongoing COVID concerns. Provincial authorities are free to organise Water Festival boat races in their provinces, but the biggest race gathering in the capital will not be going ahead this year. The Water Festival is one of Cambodia's largest festivals, attracting hundreds of thousands of people to the capital city to enjoy the regatta along a stretch of the Tonle Sap River in front of the Royal Palace. There were dramatic scenes when a train carrying a tank full of fuel and containers derailed in Phnom Penh. According to sources, the train was carrying gasoline tanks, containers and spare parts from Sihanoukville to Phnom Penh. It was travelling in a south-to-north direction toward the Phnom Penh-Battambang line. It appears that a structural fault in the track system caused the train to derail. In the ensuing collapse, 2 fuel tanks were thrown from the train. Fortunately, no one was injured. The Cambodian Mine Action Authority recorded 40 injuries from landmines and explosive remnants of war in the first 8 months of this year, compared with 33 over the same period last year. That's an increase of 21%. The authority said that 18 people were injured by landmines and another 22 by explosive remnants of war. Of the 40 victims, 10 people were killed, 23 sustained injuries and 7 had to have a limb amputated. 27 were men, 12 were teenage boys and 1 was a woman. The people were killed or injured by the landmines and explosive remnants of war because they were ploughing fields to cultivate crops, or they stepped on landmines while tending their cattle. By the end of 2023, 12 provinces will be free of landmines and other explosive remnants of war, paving the way for the entire kingdom to be safe by 2025. The Ministry of Education has announced a 3-day holiday for schools in Phnom Penh to ensure smooth flow of traffic during the upcoming ASEAN summit, which will be held in Phnom Penh from November the 10th to the 13th. Educational institutions in both the private and public sectors will remain closed to facilitate the event, which will be attended by international delegates. Let's have a look at those onions on the roads now. Onion Mobility Co. Limited has reportedly sold more than 500 units of its locally assembled Onion T1 electric rickshaw since pre-orders began late last year, a successful milestone in its ambitions to cut down pollution and reduce the costs of getting around in Cambodia. The $20 million assembly plant puts together 15 Onion T1s on a typical day, although that's well below its maximum capacity. The spacious Onion T1 can travel as far as 120 kilometres on a single charge, and a battery swap will cost around 10,000 Riel, which is about $2.50. Onion Mobility has built and commissioned 10 battery swap and charging stations in Phnom Penh and plans to set up at least one in each of Siem Reap, Praia Sihanouk and Battambang provinces, and potentially other strategically significant localities by the end of 2022 or the beginning of next year. Soon, onions will be peeling around the streets everywhere at their top speed of 50 k's an hour. If you want to see an onion in action, check out Robin in Cambodia's video where he took one for a roll. The government is discussing a draft law on control of alcohol products, which will include a minimum age limit for the consumption of alcoholic beverages to prevent and protect children from abusing the product. The Secretary of State of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation and Vice President of the Cambodian National Council for Children said that many children face challenges when it comes to alcohol consumption, such as substance abuse, malnutrition and exploitation. She added that to assist children affected by alcohol, the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports and the Ministry of Health are discussing a minimum age for the consumption of alcohol in the draft law on the control of alcohol products. Okay, it is time for Moto Madness. Rapid fire. An inebriated driver caused chaos in Phnom Penh on Thursday night after multiple crashes. Witnesses say a red Toyota Prius was being driven in an erratic manner. The car first hit a water pipe, then forced a white Honda Scoopy motorcycle to hit a green container truck before coming to a halt. Authorities attempted to reach an agreement with the driver, but she was too sozzled to cooperate. Also on Thursday night, a man was severely injured in a crash in Phnom Penh, after which the guilty driver tried to flee the scene. A white Toyota Prius was travelling along Route 101 when it lost control and smashed into a tuk-tuk. The driver attempted to drive away but smashed into a light post and came to a halt outside Wat Tor Tompong. He was detained by police. On Wednesday night, an inebriated foreign national smashed his luxury car into a tree outside Phnom Penh International Airport. The foreign national was seen driving a white Tacoma along the Russian Federation Road at high speed. He appeared to be in a visible state of intoxication. He lost control of his vehicle and smashed into a tree, causing severe damage to his car. Maybe we should call him a trunk driver. Saturday night in Phnom Penh has now become the traditional time for the capital's careless, drunk and irresponsible drivers to show just what they are capable of, and last Saturday proved to be no exception. First off, a Prius driver slammed his vehicle into a road divider at high speed at 10 p.m. along Street 271 in Tulkork. Then, a brief 40 minutes later, a drunk driver smashed up his Lexus GS 300 by again driving it into a road barrier at high speeds. It was nearly midnight when a luxury car driver found himself in a spot of bother after he smashed his expensive vehicle into a road divider. That's 3 for 3. But this guy hid his number plate to avoid detection. Sources saw his white Range Rover driving along National Road 2 from south to north at high speed. He lost control and slammed into a metal road barrier, causing severe damage to his vehicle. The man then fled the scene, but not before removing his car's number plates. I guess you got to keep a handy screwdriver in your car just in case. Only in Cambodia now, a group of students who said that they had witnessed an evil spirit are now recovering after an outbreak of mass hysteria. The incident happened at a secondary school in Stung Treng province. About 10 students worked themselves into a state of hysteria and fainting after claiming that they had seen a ghost. Some of the students were sent to a local health centre while others were taken to the pagoda. Seems like there is a lot of work for the Ministry of Cults and Religion right now. Finally, we've got a little bit of good news. Back in 2013, a pair of rare pileated gibbons was released into the Angkor Archaeological Park as part of a program to repopulate the area. Since then, more have been released and they have been having lots of babies. There are hopes that once the baby gibbons reach maturity in about 5 to 8 years, they will also pair up and mate. There are high hopes that wildlife sightings will help tourism in the area. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you for watching, and thank you once again Mokonut Life for providing today's awesome footage of Phnom Penh. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon.